Hello, hello, my good people. Good morning, good morning. This is your girl Lucita the Poetess on my Customer My Pride YouTube channel. Are you well? Are you well this week? Today we're going to talk about my story. This is basically my beautiful beginning story. Please enjoy. And this is my story. This is my beautiful beginning. More often, not as usual though, my rhythmic antenna is ever southern oriented. Let's just say life hasn't orchestrated streamlined beats for my dance. I digress. Being born and raised in the farthest end of southern Nyanza is a story to tell by itself. They were young, very young. They still are the youngest beautiful human beings I know. My parents, my pillars, my strength. My mother was 17 and my father was 20. Whatever transpired into creating an amazing human being like me is a tale to tell. I may have been born at night, but the sure thing is I wasn't born last night. My name is Nancy Mora. They do call me Dr. Lucita because it really doesn't matter. I'm just a simple poet with beautiful beginning stories. For the longest time in our village, there was no any other kid. I know there wasn't any other charming kid like me. They say it takes a whole village to raise a child. And sure enough, it took a whole village to raise me. You see, my village is rich in culture. I am the best of the best of holders of culture to date. One morning, when I stood by the ridge of the hill, my eyes pierced far yonder above my villagers. Emotions churned and ran down my heart. Tears of happiness crept over me. It was the first time, my very first time. Let me jog your memory a little bit. How was it the first time you did something? The first time you held your first baby? The first time you stepped into campus? The first time you signed your very first contract of starting a job? The first time, how did it feel? I know you felt it. It was amazing. Now, this was my first time to step into a town, a small town in a small county, in the farthest end of the small country. Let us just say the country is no longer small because I'm no longer small, and the town has grown to be the biggest town around. It was my first time to step into a boarding school. I was joining Form 1. Everything was fascinating. My classmates' eloquence, it was mesmerizing. Everything was beautiful. I could just look, admire how they could talk. Like they were very fluent eloquent. I could just admire and say, could I one day be eloquent like them? Until the third day, when the teacher appeared in class, I clearly, precisely remember her name. Her name was Joy. But let me tell you, her demeanor did not reflect her name at all. Not at all. There was nothing to be joyous about the Joy. But deep down, the joy of being in a boarding school and being surrounded by amazing students could not deter my happiness. After all, my villagers taught me on how to create my own happiness. She greeted us and then asked each one of us which primary school had we come from. Let's just take a moment, breathe back, moment back. Yes, we are going back now to my primary school. Humble beginnings can really humble you, down to earth. Humble you, humility, down to earth. You see your surrounding, your ambience, your environment might actually make you feel like the most useless being on earth. Unlike others in the same class, I came from the most rural schools to be heard of. If I try to pronounce the name here, it might take years for you to get it clearly. So let us just leave it there. It was in the village. You remember my village? My village that raised me? The village, that one that raised me? That one. Compared to everyone who had scored extremely well, I had scored 40 marks above the pass mark. Upon mentioning my marks, everybody in the whole class laughed. They all wondered, how did she even make it to join such a school in a boarding school with such marks? You see, what had happened is the mother of the grandfather, of the grandmother, of the sister, of the brother, of the chief of my area had pulled a little bit of strings. So I got admission. You get it? Yeah. Despite their laughter, I knew what I wanted. I knew my purpose. I knew what drove me. Submit, yet surrender. Yes, the immensity of pain and agony of being seen as the last one, the tail in the class, propelled my success today. Though I was the best in my village in spoken English and performance, I felt inferior. I felt disjointed. I tell you, I was grammatically displaced. 4 years later, let's just count 1, 2, 3, 4, from 1 to 4. This naive village girl emerged the best in the whole school, in the whole district, in the whole province. Let me tell you, my friend, I headed the mathematics club You remember the girl from the village? Yes. Ask me again, how did that happen? Mm, I hold it again. It's just my beautiful beginning. 4 years later, first year, second year, third year, fourth year, in campus, that was the best moments ever. From the village, now to the city, to the university. Amazing, amazing, amazing. The transition was amazing. A few challenges here and there, having lost my grandparents, back to the village, my roots. But after the 4 years, I was given powers to read. You see, you given powers to read. But it took me forever to get a job. So one day, I carried my degree. It was a bright morning. I carried it. I went to the university offices and I found the head of faculty. And I told her, this degree is doing me no good. You can as well have it. It meant nothing to me at that time. I told her, you can keep it because I ain't getting a job. The village girl is there with the courage of a city girl. I don't know. Is it being brought up in the village that gives you the courage? I'm yet to know. I had guts. Who does that? I'm yet to know who does that, but I did. But one thing I held in my heart is I didn't come far for me to just come that far. So I knew my tomorrow must be greater than today. I knew there is something about me being up from the village to where I had reached. So back, I went to school. Because me, I'm just one. I'm just unique. And this is my beautiful beginning story. You see, you may travel east-west, north-south. Try going up and down. I'm one. I'm me. My smile is no one's. Neither is my race. My speech inclusive. I am one. The beautiful me, uniquely energetic. Out of this world, I am one. I am one. I am blessed differently. I am gifted on my own. I am talented solely because I am one. They may look like me. I may look like them, but they are never me because I am one. And just like that, I progressed with doing my second degree, which I'm almost finishing. I started off doing my accountancy certification, which is almost finishing. You may ask me how? Back from the village to the world is me. And this is just a beautiful story. So let me ask you today, who is that who is telling you that you cannot rise beyond you? Who is that that is lying to you that you cannot be better than you were yesterday? Is it your thoughts? Is it your parents? Is it your relatives? Is it your surrounding? Are they making you feel inferior? No, let me tell you one thing. Whoever told you that, tell me who told you that again. Tell me who told you that you are unfamiliar. that you're vexed by every fly? Who told you that you're naked, that righteous will never clothe you? Tell me who told you. Who told you that you're a sinner, that forgiveness is a teardrop in the ocean? Who told you? Who told you? Please tell me again. Who told you? Who told you that you're a loser, that you're just a victim of circumstances? Who told you that you'll never win? Who told you that Jesus didn't win your battle, that you're just a pauper? Who? Who told you? Please tell me. Who told you? Who told you that you're illegitimate? Your endeavors will go in despair. Who told you that you'll never amount to anything, that you're filthy and worthless? Who told you that Jesus was not worthy, you sick? Who? Who told you? Please tell me who told you. Who told you that you can't find rest, that your pieces are uncollectible? Who told you that you're just a rock of misery? Who told you that life is unbearable? Who told you again? With whose power again? Please tell me. Who told you? I want to tell you today that whoever told you whatever they told you, they mean nothing. Refine yourself. Retell your story. Remember, you are a masterpiece. You are a global influence. You are a blessing to your generation. Your strides are full of success. You're a mirror of greatness. You are the power of who you were created to be. Let me tell you, the day I realized that I am the strongest mortal being on earth is the day I discovered that power is a veiled potential awaiting exposure. Like water flowing slowly at deeper ends, only to hasten its pace in a steep ground, is your potential. Small seasons will make you feel unnoticed. They may curtail your set ambitions. Don't you forget, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a very single step. The beautiful small beginning is the step that you ought to make today. From being a villager, from being a naive girl, from being laughed at class, to being a founder and the CEO of a very great organization that runs capacity building on customer service, is yours, Nancy Mora. From the village to the world, from naivety to Lorette, from the smallest to rising above the limitations. Thank you for keeping the pace with me. Thank you for listening to my beautiful beginning story. Stay tuned for more episodes. Don't you forget to subscribe. This is your girl, Lucita the Poetess. From the village to the world. Goodbye. In our next episode, we're going to dwell more on my customer, my pride. So we're going to talk about the most asked question by the customer service officers or the service providers: how to handle a difficult customer. Rather, we will give it a title: the complaining customer.